Hi, this is Diane Binscoter with Own Your Brain, the Stories campaign. I'm in Portland, Oregon today, and the story this week has to do with three women who grew up together and were in rival gangs. They've now formed an organization called Neighbors Against Violence and are doing important work to keep kids outside, off the streets and away from gangs. So let's listen to their story right after this.
And we had like our little group, so I guess everybody was kind of like labeling us anyway as blood girls. So we was like, hey, okay, so we just start doing that, you know. But it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of fun at first. Make you feel power. We got a lot of attention. So it was like, and everybody knew who we were. So it was pretty, you know, it was just exciting. And I felt like I was, since I am the baby, I was the baby of the family, I just felt like I was getting ignored. So I just went out, you know, with friends that, you know, had my back, you know. So it was like, we just was having fun at first, you know, and then things got a little bit serious. It shifted me when I got pregnant. I was still banging when I was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? So it was, I think that was scary for me, you know, being pregnant and still trying to bang and stuff, and, you know, people like threatening me and stuff, you know, my baby, you know, I'm gonna kick your baby out and all that stuff. So that was kind of scary for me. And I think that after I had my son and I'm holding this baby in my hand, I just realized like, wow, you know, I need to like slow it down, you know. So if my mother would have been there for me like that, I probably wouldn't probably did the things I did. But she wasn't there when I needed her.
I just thought crime was a part of life. It was something you had to do to get by. We had the after hours in our house for years. We had my dad sold drugs. My dad my dad always had a lot of friends over and just never felt all the way right. Like I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew it was something illegal. I hung around a lot of Bloods, but I played sports and stuff, so I really wasn't involved in a gang, but that's who I hung around. But when I would go home, my brother was a Crip. He didn't go to our school. He, like I said, got in trouble a lot, so he went from school to school. I think he went to almost every high school in Portland. And so he ended up in an alternative school, and he was a Crip. And so when I would go home, it would just be Crips all at my house. So at home, I was hanging around all the Crips. At school, I was hanging around all Bloods. When I graduated from high school, well, before I graduated from high school, I knew a couple people who got killed. And I felt like I was more close to the Bloods. But like I said, when I go home, my brother is a Crip, and that was still what was around me for the majority of my evenings. When I would go out and go to parties and stuff, I would go to Blood parties. I wouldn't go to Crip parties. And once I got out of high school, I hung around a lot of Bloods, and that's when I really kind of disassociated from my brother. And I started having Blood parties at my house and had Blood boyfriends, and just was around all Bloods, but I still never was actually in a gang. That's who I was around. The police killed my father. They raided our house for drugs, and they killed my father, shot my father 37 times. At that time, I was pregnant, but I was pregnant by a Crip. And at that time, it was my mom, we just kind of took over my mom's house. My mom couldn't no longer stay by herself. She was mentally just distraught. It was me and my brother was in jail. Me and my boyfriend at that time were living on our own. We had to move back in with my mom. And then when my brother got out of jail, well, before that, by then, all my boyfriend's family, all his friends, everybody, it was all Crips. That's all I was all around. So I just like left being around all the Bloods and just became a Crip at that time, pretty much. People were shooting up our house. We had so many drive-bys at my mom's house growing up. There was times when I was sitting on the couch and bullets was going through our window and everybody had to duck. My dad was always in the streets. My dad was always a hustler. So we always had stuff going on. It was times we'd be watching the news or looking in the paper and they said my dad had bombed a house. They said my dad killed somebody. He'd always get off. He always got away with everything though. So, I mean, it was always going on all through my life. But so I knew violence and drugs and drug dealing and all that all my life. It never was anything it was just part of reality for me. There's so many kids that have never seen the outside of their neighborhood, their whatever hood they're in. And for me, I think that's the reason why I was able to get out so easy, was because I knew there was more out there, and I think that's what I can give back. Help them to see more, let them see more. My daughter's 23 now, graduated from college in Michigan. Now she's working on her degree and her graduate degree in California. I helped her to change over and to grow into a good child and to do better. And I want to help other kids do better. There's a huge country out here. Go see it, find different things, learn about it. Education is the key to me. And for me, that's my main thing, is just get your education while you're young. Don't wait till you get older. I waited till I was old to go back to school and get my degree. Don't wait till you're older. Do it when you're young, when you can use it and really help the next generation. Don't be a follower. Always be a leader.
I never had a license. I drove around with a gun because I had to, protect myself at all times, Like, I had many shootouts. Like, I used to be mad waking up early in the morning knowing, like, damn, who I gotta shoot at first, or who finna shoot at me first. So yeah, everything was right. Selling dope was right. Everything was right. Protecting my family was right. I'm the oldest. The way it was right is because I was protecting my people, yes. Even if your parents is glorifying it, wake up, please. Like, bullets have no name. And once you pull that trigger, you cannot bring that bullet back. It's gonna catch up with you sooner or later. 5, 6, 10 years from now, hell, it might be that same night you pull that trigger. And just because you aim it at somebody, that don't mean you gonna shoot them. Because everybody can't control that gun just because they can pull that trigger. Respect yourself.
This has been the story of 3 women who started an organization called Neighbors Against Violence. They are Lunita Renfro, Dee Dee Wallace, and Nikki Taylor. They're doing some important work. Check out the links below and help them if you can, because it's really important. There's a couple more links below. If this is your first time here, thanks for coming. Please subscribe, because I'll be traveling around the United States and Canada, gathering stories of former members of gangs, former members of terrorist groups, former members of religious groups, and others. So join us every week and check out the links below. There's an important one that says contact me. If you have a story or you know someone who has a story, please hit that button and let me know, and we'll talk about it, because your story could be the one to change someone's life. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.